right. Welcome everybody to the Invest Podcast. I'm your host, John Ross. My guest I have today smells like money. I have a financial advisor in here. This woman is an award-winning speaker. This woman is a certified financial advisor, licensed. She's a certified money coach. She definitely knows money. This woman is also a champion for women wealth empowerment. She has over 30 years as being a business owner, and she has helped thousands of individuals as their trusted wealth advisor. I want to welcome Jennifer Jost to the Invest Podcast. Jennifer, how are you doing this morning?
I'm fabulous. I love it. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
Nice. So Jennifer, I see a beautiful background there. Can you tell my listeners, where are you this morning?
So I actually listen to my intuition. People think I'm crazy. I literally up and moved from Northern California, which I grew up and I've been my whole life. And I moved to San Diego a couple months ago.
Nice. Out there on the beach, beautiful weather. So being a NorCal native like me, myself, just picked up, moved to SoCal. Man, it must be beautiful. So you grew up in Northern California. I'm from Sacramento, California. What part of Northern California are you from? What city?
So I'm actually from Antioch, the small town out on the Delta. I'm going to have to move my cat. I'm sorry. I love this.
Got you.
So I grew up in Antioch and I spent most of my time there, and I left for 5 years and went to Hayward and then came back to the Brentwood area. So I've been in that area my whole life, and I moved to Danville for about 5 years. And then I literally came down here to visit my daughter and looked at apartments a couple weeks later, and I literally moved. I'm like, if I have to be, in my place working from home, I ended up having to sell my home during COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm footloose and fancy free. I'm just going to go play for a year. So yeah. I moved within like 2 weeks. Everybody thinks I'm so crazy.
I mean, if you can do it and you're able to do it and you wanted to do it, why not? I'm a big believer in do what feels right. Like, it might not make sense to everybody else, but if it works and it makes sense to you, you go, girl.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. It was a quick move, and I'm very happy here. As you can tell, my view is amazing. I
see it. I was like, where's she calling from?
It's so great. I feel every morning I walk in and I'm so blessed. I'm like, this is so great. Finally living my best life at 57. So I'm excited.
That's what it's about. So one of my first questions I wanted to have for you, as you being a financial advisor, you being a certified money coach, there's like a million different sectors, a bunch of different careers that you could have picked. Jennifer, what brought you to the financial sector?
That's a great question, because as you said, there's so many different areas that you could invest and end up in. So I actually received a settlement in my, I guess it was in my 30s. And I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know anything about investing. I knew everything about, I was in business for years and years, and I just did not know about how to make my money grow outside of real estate or business. So I trusted an advisor and let it sit there for 10 years. It did not even grow. After I got my degree in psychology, I said, okay, now I need to learn the investment world. And so once I started learning it, I completely understood it. And then I learned myself that I could actually share it with other people and they could understand it. So I kind of fell into it, and I really love it. It helps me help others. And as you know, as a business owner, it's a total personal growth journey,
yes.
Right? So then when you talk about money, it's like, wow, you're going to the core on this.
That's really big, because I believe that sector is really important, because even one thing I've learned is, even if you have money, but you do not have a good, sound financial based understanding and education, you can actually run into a lot of problems having more money. When I was younger and I was a kid, I was like, well, I hear about like athletes and people like that going broke. Like, how did you go broke? You know, he made like $100 million in their career. And as they became older, I started working. You know, I started getting into business and things like that. And I started saying, wow, you know, I need to start to work on my financial education, because you can have $1 million, $2 million, and you don't know what to do with that money, when to spend it, when not to spend it, where to invest it, where to save it. You can run into a lot of problems with more money. I heard it saying, sometimes more money, more problems. You don't know what to do with that money.
You're absolutely right. You're 100% right. I actually met with, as you mentioned, like tons of people. And then I realized, yes, we can have a great financial plan and we can have an amazing rate of return. And we have, you know, like I do time-based investing and time-based planning. So we have buckets. I call it buckets.
Okay.
So we make sure we have money in all the buckets. However, like you mentioned, if you don't have the foundation underneath all of that, you will absolutely make a mistake. And let me tell you, I've been there. Like things were rolling, you know, things were great, money was coming in, and then I'd invest into a property or a different business maybe that I should not have. I've even gotten married and it took me out of the game for a bit. Like there's so many things that you can do. I do believe in the law of attraction, and I believe that we can like get up to a temperature and money's rolling, and that's great. And then it gets beyond what we feel worthy of or capable of handling. And then we'll sabotage ourselves and get back down to the temperature that we're comfortable with. So that's when I became certified money coach, so that I could help people with their mindset, because I know that I needed the help. And so after I helped myself get off that stupid roller coaster and actually enjoy the money coming in, and I know that I'm worthy of it. And I think a big part of that, like one of my sayings is, money just flows. So once I can understand that when I have my money and I can give it and share it to others, and it feels really good to be a part of their life with my cash and my money, then it feels really, really, really great.
Awesome. So I also saw that you're really big on not just empowerment for everybody, also really empowerment for women, them being empowered financially, you know, pretty much being like financially independent. I think it's really awesome. I'm pretty sure my listeners will definitely appreciate hearing that, especially the females. My wife loved that. She said, "Oh, you go, girl." So why do you feel that's so important? You know, women being empowered, you know, financially. I believe it's important, but I want to hear it in your words.
Thank you. I appreciate that. There's been a lot of studies coming out lately that there's going to be some ridiculous amount of money traveling over, like, you know, like $20 trillion over the next few years. And it's actually going to be inherited. And a majority of it is going to be received by women.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we've been saying that for a long time now. And I really do believe that the financial services industry has been set up in a masculine model. Now, don't get it wrong. I love men. So take that right off the table now. Love men.
All right. Okay.
Being a single woman, really love men. But just saying. All
right.
However, the financial industry is built on a man's brain, I feel like. And so if you are a woman stepping into this industry, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of blame. And this is my personal belief. I believe women think about money differently. We have a relationship with money. So I'll give you an example. So let's say we're business owners, right? And we're partners and we start some crazy thing and it just doesn't go, or a pandemic hits and it crashes or something. And you're like, hey, we need to file bankruptcy, wipe it out, start over. And that's great. That's what we need to do on the business mind. But as a woman, I'm going to feel like a piece of crap because I have to file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And I believe a man can compartmentalize and go, hey, that's just something that we did and we're done now. Like, let's move on to business, right? I hope that makes sense, because your wife feels this way. I'm telling you, if she said, go girl, I know she feels this way. So we take money and financial means on as part of who we are. Now, I know it's a status figure maybe for men that, you know, they definitely want to be the provider and show that, which I get that, but we take it as internal. So here's the weirdest thing, you're going to laugh, but My 8th grade friend made fun of me in 8th grade. And that shows up in my money life. It's so weird, but our past relationships show up in how we handle money, save money, make money, invest money. So we really do have to look at the foundation of our relationship with money so that we can just make better decisions, like move to San Diego on a whim.
I love that. I love that. So, with you spreading, this word and all this, information about financial knowledge and education and things like that, I also saw that you've done speaking. So you've actually spoken to people, I'm guessing conferences and things like that so you're an award-winning speaker. So Jennifer, what got you into speaking? Like that's big.
Yes, it is big. Another personal growth step. I can tell you that right now, right? It's like, oh my gosh. To be on the stage and be authentic. And I have to say that is one of my accomplishments in life, is to be myself. I am absolutely, good or bad, but I am absolutely myself everywhere that I'm at. Like, here on the podcast with my clients, with my family, my cats, like it doesn't matter. I am totally myself, but it took me a little bit to get there. So I call it a God thing. Like I just walked into this networking event and there was a gal there that wanted to talk to me about becoming a speaker. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't. I'm a financial advisor and we have compliance and no. And she's like, let's see if we can find a way. And she and her husband helped me be my authentic self and tell my story from the stage. And it was a lot. But have you ever, like, I'm sure you have, because you're amazing at this podcast, but have you ever been in a place or done something that it was so easy you just knew you were meant to be here?
Yeah.
And that's how I feel on the stage. I know that I am meant to be sharing these words.
Yeah, when you do something, sometimes you just get that feel like this is for me. That you're probably a little nervous, probably the first time you did it, but after that first time, you pretty much knew, huh?
I did, and I'm nervous right now. I mean, it's always, a little bit of nervous, but I believe there's a fine line between nervous and, anxiety and stuff. And I just call it excitement. So I'm totally excited to do this, right? And I love it. And when it just flows, like moving to San Diego just flows.
Water.
Exactly. Just like water. And when I'm on the stage or in a podcast or anything, I do meditate before and I do my prayers and I light my candles and I get into my superwoman power and all of that to get ready. But it's really not my words. Like I really do believe that there's a higher power, if you want to call it God, intuition, law of attraction, whatever everybody's belief is, there's something bigger than us, right?
Yes.
There's something bigger than us. And that's where I'm getting a lot of my strength and I'm getting a lot of my wisdom. So I can't really take too much credit for, besides showing up, taking a shower, putting on makeup and being ready.
Being authentic and being your best self. So one thing I know about you, you've been adding a lot of things and certs and different skill sets, over the years. It seems as if you didn't just do one thing and you were like, oh, I'm good here. You continue to put more skills in your toolbox to really invest in yourself. So what would you feel we'd say to people is the importance of not staying in one place as far as like your knowledge base or skill set and always trying to improve? I know myself, I always work to improve. And I tell people, I said, invest in yourself, Personal Growth Co. I have this brand. I'm not perfect. I'm a person that knows I need to continue to get better and learn and improve every day. So what is your take on always just trying to improve yourself? What would you say to my listeners?
I love that. That's a great question and a great topic, because you're right. I have spent thousands and thousands. Now I have my degree in psychology. That's book education.
Woo.
Great. I love it. but it absolutely cannot replace getting out there and having I call it a personal coach. I spent 10 years on the therapy couch, love therapy, found out where all the crap came from. Okay, good. Now, personal growth coaching showed me how to take the crap and put it into my life, be authentic, and make a difference from it. So I am always learning. I always have a coach. I am always investing into myself, into my business. This whole past year, I've put thousands and thousands of dollars on moving things online and being able to show up in my little square, because my square is now my stage, right?
Yeah.
And be authentic in my little square. And I'm always learning something new. And like you said, speaking like on the stage, oh my gosh, that was, even though I knew I was meant to be there, how to show up. I had 3 years of a personal coach there just to be able to show up and really take the criticism, because the more you get out there, the more you're going to hear negative stuff. And so I had to take my journey on that. I have 3 coaches right now. I'm always going to have a coach. It feels good when we're better. And it just feels good when we're getting better ourselves. And then people around us, like you said, for your listeners, I hope everyone's listening, because seeing me move to San Diego, I literally have had 3 people say, oh my gosh, I changed my whole financial plan now because I saw you do that. I think I can do something different. I'm like, okay, great. Maybe that's why I was supposed to do it. I'm not sure. But yeah, personal growth and always learning. And then what else I do? I always look at the day. And this is very vulnerable. I don't know if you can do this. I don't know if it's crazy, but I literally look at the day. What could I have done better? And I literally will call people and apologize. Or I'll send a text and say, okay, I could have said that better. I could have done that better. Now, we all beat ourselves up, right? We got enough shame and blame. We don't need to be beating ourselves up anymore. But I do need to recognize when I could have done something better, and I might have said something, because I'm perfectly imperfect, right?
Right.
So
Well, yes.
we just are. So I always want to apologize. I always want to acknowledge it and say, okay, I could have done that better, and this is what I'm going to do better moving forward, and then just let it go.
With you putting yourself out there and not being afraid to try new things, not being afraid, because when you try new things, sometimes it takes a little while for them to start to work out, or it takes a little while for you to get good at them. And then in the beginning, sometimes you have critics, you have I don't want to say people who aren't fans and haters and things like that. And I think sometimes that is what stops a lot of people from really reaching their goals and just living their best life, because I believe we're so concerned about what other people's perception is of us. And it's just so fearful for people to try something different. People will sometimes work at a job that they, excuse my language, they fucking hate. But they'll stay there for 30 or 40 years, and you'll see them moaning and groaning, and they hate it, but never ever had that courage to try anything different, just because of the fears of failing and not being good at it, and being maybe ridiculed or talked about for trying it. Can you say something real quick to maybe try to inspire some of those people? Because some people, they need this, Jennifer.
Absolutely. And you said my favorite word, just so that you know.
What was that?
The F word is my favorite word.
Oh, I keep that. I try to keep that to a minimum, but I had to put that out there.
Because it's just perfect in certain areas. So I love what you're saying. So courage is huge. And then you also mentioned fear. So what I can say is fear is this close to excitement.
Yeah.
So just turn it to excitement. And yes, there's a lot of people in positions, marriages, jobs, careers, anything that they absolutely hate and they're not happy. And I just want to stress that courage is absolutely what it takes. But I didn't do this alone. I'm thinking of my soul sisters right now. I have support everywhere I go. So you're right, there are haters. When I started this journey on getting on stage and speaking and really telling my truth, I literally had friends tell me, you need to get married and settle down and stop trying to save the world. Now, and after reflection from that, I know that was their truth. That's not my truth. They wanted me in their life, which is flattering. So if we turn that around to be, yes, I know it's more fun for me to be there. I get that, but this is my purpose, is to share my truth. And it makes me so happy. So what I say is get some friends. Maybe it might be one, might be a mastermind group. It might be, this podcast. It might be, it could be anything, but get a couple people that absolutely blow your skirt up when you need your skirt blown up, and literally call them first if you're having a bad day. Like, I'm in a group text with my soul sisters, and we get a Zoom every month, and I'll say this and they'll come back with just positive and just really, like, they're my champions. You've got to have somebody in your corner. It could be your spouse. It could be your spouse, as long as they're in your corner. So don't go it alone. Absolutely do not go it alone. Absolutely do not go it alone. We got to have a community. We have to have support. We have to reach out for help. And you just got to find those few people that, just really, they got you, they got your heart. They got your heart. They got your soul. And you got to have that. They're going to help you. What's the song? Wind Beneath My Wings. Is that I got to have wind sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Even like you said, even if you got, one person in your corner that's there for you, it could just be that moral support, that is like super duper big. And of course, you got to believe in yourself first, because if you don't believe in you, then of course nobody else will believe in you either. So I'll touch really quick on finance, and we'll go to something else. So if you, I know we can't talk about investments, things like that, but I know with you helping people, being a money coach, so you definitely know money, understand how it works. What would you say to my listeners is just the importance of them getting themselves some type of financial education so they can start to work toward, being financially independent, later on in life? Because, I know some people that had good jobs, but they just never got the financial education. And some of them are, 60s and plus, and still saying, man, I got to work another 10 years because I didn't put enough away, when I was younger. So what would you say to them? And I know it's great to, the younger you start, the better, right?
Yep, you got that right. And we have that compound interest in time for sure is on your side. However, I've heard that my whole life as well. Save, 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 invest, invest, invest. And all I did was do businesses and homes and apartments and, just real estate, stuff like that. And then lost everything in 2010. So I was a multimillionaire before that and lost absolutely everything when everything crashed in 2008, 9. I kept my house, and I was a single mom at the time. So very proud that I, sole provider, single mom. So, and that was not easy. And so I think that some people love money. Some people love education. Some people love the finance. That's great. Dig in, learn as much as you can, invest, watch your money grow. We want to beat the market. We don't want to just keep up with the market. I'm over that. I'm over the old traditions of let's just keep up with the S&P. Yeah, no, we want to beat that. We want to make our money grow for sure. Otherwise, I'm going to spend it. Like, I'm going to enjoy it now. I also am a huge proponent of enjoying life now. So I want to know, I call financially free is when you have enough money over here making money in any way, business, real estate, passive income, whatever you want, but it takes care of your daily life expenses and you don't have to get out of bed. Nice. That's financial freedom. That's when you can pick up and move to San Diego. That's when you can do whatever you want to do. But it takes a bit to get there. I get that. And the first step is your relationship with money. We have to know our relationship with money. And here's the trick. It's not your fault. You started your relationship with money in childhood, even DNA came to you. So you got to look at it and then say, okay, what beliefs are mine and what am I going to keep? And I do believe that everyone listening to this right now can absolutely have every dream and desire come true. Everyone. No one is better off. It doesn't matter about anything. It matters right here in between our mind and what's in our heart. It really is how we feel about money. Start there And you will be absolutely surprised when money starts falling in all the different strange places. It's so fun. I love abundance and prosperity in someone's life. It's the best thing ever.
I love that, Jennifer. Thanks for sharing that. Before we wrap it up, I want to talk to you about, at some point you decided to become a grief counselor, to help people deal with grief. I have an uncle who's also a grief counselor as well. Can you share your story of what really got you into that? I know you do have a heartbreaking story and some tragedy in your life as well. Can you share that with my listeners, please?
Absolutely. And this is one of the foundations that gives me strength every day. And another reason why I know I'm here for a reason, and I know I'm here for a purpose. So I'm sure some of your listeners can maybe relate to this. I grew up in an alcoholic home, so it was very dysfunctional.
Oh, wow, me too.
Right? I mean, most entrepreneurs, we've experienced it. And so we create a lot of wonderful coping mechanisms that work in childhood that do not work in adulthood, right? Number one, codependent, just sign me up. Yep. And I married at 19, another alcoholic, because that's the only thing that I knew. And that's what I felt comfortable with. So I had two beautiful children, Nicholas at the age of 21 and Shuri at the age of 24. And after about 10 years, I said, I can't do this anymore. So I filed for divorce. It did not go well. Unfortunately, he became very rageful. And long story short, he ended up kidnapping me, holding me at gunpoint with my children.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was 29 at the time. My daughter, Shuri, was 5, and my son, Nicholas, was 8. And he finally let me go because I had to go to work. And he knew people would be looking for us. And he just literally snapped. And so he held my kids hostage for 11 hours. And at the 11th hour, the hostage negotiator was doing the best he possibly could to get him to come out. And then 3 shots were fired. And he ended up taking my children's lives and his life.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was day from hell, as you can imagine. So I was 29 at the time. I still lose my breath telling that story. And you can imagine I've told that story a million times.
My God, that is the worst imaginable. Like, kids dying is tragic, but if I had to pick, which I don't want to pick, I'd rather have it be in a car accident or at the hands of their other parent is unthinkable, Jennifer.
Yeah, it was absolutely unthinkable. It would never even cross my mind. He was actually an amazing father, which was very odd because he just literally snapped. And it came from his childhood as well, right? It came from him not being sound and being able to go through a divorce as well. So what I did was I went to a grief group. First of all, I didn't even want to wake up, of course. And then here's my faults on all of this. I was actually having an affair and I was dating someone during this time. So and the gut-wrenching, I don't deserve to live, right? All of that.
Yeah.
A lot to work through for sure. And then to say the words, I had an affair, to say the words that, yes, I didn't pull the trigger. However, I could have done things a little bit differently for sure. So I had to take that responsibility for myself and step into who I am today. So I went to a grief group. I was in therapy 3 days a week. I went to bed and then therapy and then back to bed again. My family was amazing. They came in and ran my business for me. I had tons of help. It was just a whole thing. That's a whole nother podcast we can get into. Yeah. So I went to that grief group and I had a couple that was sobbing every single week. And then I had another woman that was handling with such grace. And then I found out that the couple's son had passed away 5 years earlier. And I said, oh my God, I cannot do this gut-wrenching pain for 5 years. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I literally made a decision. I made a decision to come through this grief with grace. And there was a reason why I was on this earth. So I am here, I know, to empower women to live their best life. I'm here for a reason. I have no idea, I just know that I have to be on this planet. I have to share my story. My children's birth story was Diamond. So my or Diamond Life and Diamond Life Strategies, and I honor them every day. So they're here with us. Nick and Cherie are here with us, and so if you start laughing for no reason, that's my daughter. And if you drop anything like keys or anything crazy, that's my son messing with you. So they are absolutely here with us. Just to make a horrible story, wrap it up in a bow. I did marry the gentleman I was dating at the time, and I had 2 more beautiful children.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My son Parker. So I have at this time of this podcast, they're 24 and 25. So yes, I got to be a mom still. And my daughter's journey was a journey to get her one of the best days of my life, being a mom again. And so that's my story. I know that I'm here to help women. My financial services business is mostly couples. And I want to make sure that everyone can hear my story and can know that if I can do it, you can do it.
That is just a amazing story. It is one of courage. Many people probably wouldn't be able to get through that and come out on the other side the way that you did. But you took tragedy. You said, I'm going to make something of this. I'm going to honor my children. And I feel that is absolutely amazing. Before we wrap up this show, Jennifer, out of all the things that you've done, all the awards, the business, the speaking, all of the people that you have helped in your business career, what award, what accolade, what is one of your, most important that's dear to you? What's one of your favorite accolades? You have a very accomplished career.
Thank you so much. It's probably going to be different than what you thought, but I really think that my biggest accomplishment is being my true self every day and really caring about what's inside. Of course, I'm going to want to look good for your podcast for sure.
Yeah.
As long as I show up and who I truly am every day and speak my truth and have integrity, and it's not easy to do, right? I mean, it's not easy to do. And so when we can do that, I mean, I still even tear up, and that's who I am. Like, that's who I am. My kids, because I laugh at the Nemo commercials when all the babies didn't make it. They're like, oh my God, try it, everything. But that's okay, because tears are healing just as much as laughter. So I think just being able to be my true self every effing day is a hell of an accomplishment.
It is definitely. So Jim, before we wrap this up, it's been an amazing show. Your story, your accomplishments, your advice to my listeners. I think you definitely have inspired people. You have motivated people. So if somebody listening was looking for some type of financial advice or looking to maybe hire you, how would they be able to get in touch with Jennifer Jost? What is your website, email? How would they get in touch with you, Jen? Someone may hit me up and say, hey, that woman I spoke to, how do I get in touch with her? So how can I do that?
Well, if they're single, you'll have to text me.
Okay.
If they're talking
I just got that.
Just saying.
Okay. Okay. Hey, single woman, single looking to mingle. So you guys hear that? You got it.
I love it. So actually my website is great, jenniferjost.com. I have some amazing quizzes on there. They're all free. There's 2 of them about your personality and one about your spending habits. Okay. And they're all free, but then you'll get into my funnels. And so then you'll get on my newscast. I do webinars, I do workshops, I do challenges, I do all kinds of fun stuff. So just go on jenniferjost.com, JENNIFERJOST.com, and then take a quiz, and then you'll see, it'll ask you to have an appointment with me if you want to chat. There's always questions that you can jump on and ask, but I appreciate you letting me share my info today. It was so fun.
It's been a great podcast. You're a great guest. I'm going to look at trying to bring you back on at some time in the future. We unpacked a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty sure we can unpack some more. It's been amazing. I want you to enjoy the rest of your morning out there in San Diego. And you take care. And for my listeners, please like, share, and subscribe. Jennifer Jost on the Invest Podcast. It's been amazing. Let's do it again. Jen, enjoy your morning.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.